thing because, you know, we were just a group of guys that, you know, really didn't really express too much to each other. It was all kind of really said and done. Everyone had their own agendas, and I guess it was just something that I'd never really thought was a big thing until I guess became an artist. And I was like, oh fuck, I hope I'm not like stepping on Tarbin's toes. And that's just a thought that I never thought I would have. Like just that thought was something that I was like, fuck, what if he feels this way? What if after I've been really, really just giving him like all of this and then I stop, how would that make me feel? And I was like, fuck. I was like, is that why? And from then on, because again, like the feelings that I got from all these things, I was like, man, I can't really have something truly that I think I want without kind of mingling in a lot of people's minds. And I started going there. I started thinking about that. And it'll just be an automatic response. I hope you guys understand the relationship that me and Live have is such like where I will see him and I would imagine like, for me it's, I need to protect this dude. I need to make sure this guy's good. I just need to make sure like this guy's like happy first and foremost. That's just more important to me. And this guy's all right. So maybe like I was like, oh fuck, am I tripping out? If I did this, I'm like, oh my god, if this guy feels some certain type of way, like because in my mind I just thought that was just another world that probably could have happened. Again, this is just my personal thoughts. I'm not saying that he was like that. I'm just saying this is just my thoughts and the way I kind of started developing my mind. And then, you know, like obviously then the after I call, oh yeah, right away. Like I found ways to shoot videos in a very minimal budget way, and thankfully for that, you know, Tarbin said he started profiting again, which I was so happy over the moon for. That was the whole point of me doing the whole run and gun thing, shooting 2 videos, Summer Tights, Yellow Cab, and I had to re-edit another video, all at that expense and that cost. I did a lot of things that made things clutch. You know, if things were being thrown at us in a way where we weren't allowed to like come out with that because it was just so bad, I had to fucking do something about it. You know, did I get paid for it? No, fuck. Just thought, but fuck it, who cares? Just thought everyone was fucking living like that. You know, so like, yeah, man, fucking those details, like there's just so much more, but I don't want to keep fucking just staying in this moment. Sorry guys, I want to just move on. Tour happened, right? Before the tour, Mida 2. So this is where everything started fucking getting weird. You know, one day like I was like we were doing Head in the Clouds, I think first LA show ever. This is when I debuted. This is the first time I went to LA to do Head in the Clouds. And during that period, obviously the conversation started happening because I became an artist. It's like, oh, what, you know, let's start, me and Tarbin were like, let's start talking about the rights to DPR and the shares. Because now isn't it a good time to bring that up? Because, you know, my contract ended and, you know, like to see where really how much money this was being kind of, I guess, distributed towards. Because during that period of time, Live was having exemplary examples of certain different other artists that was making this much as opposed to how much we were making. And it was shady because come to think of it now and really seeing the artist contract that Live was signed to, no one had any idea. No one had any idea. We had no blueprint to go off of. So whatever we thought was fair, or whatever Scott thought was fair, we just kind of like, all right, yeah, I guess that's it. Like, because how do we know? We're fucking young, dumb, and stupid, and we're just naive. So everyone is accountable for that measure. It's not just Scott. It's like everyone, right? Like I'm accountable for like not being as knowledgeable, but that's what life teaches you. It teaches you to learn, grow, and experience. You know, and sometimes you just have to ram through it. So fast forward, okay, that's when all these questions started arising. Bro, how much are you really making? Fuck, I don't know. But like my friend here in this company is like fucking making this much, you know? And his streams are like this, you know? So what's the catch? So then, you know, I still remember. So that was our first conversation we had with Scott. Yo, what's happening with this whole like split ratio thing with DPR? Like, what's really going on? What is really going on? I thought you said it didn't matter. I thought you said whose name's on the, I guess, shareholders list for DPR has the trademark. It don't really matter because that's how we would play it off. Time and time, I tell you guys, it's not like we've never had this conversation. We've had this conversation time and time, but it would always come to the conclusion of like, bro, that's not how our system works. That's not how the money's really distributed. That's not how like things just work around. We're a unique blueprint, which I agree to, right? I understand we are a unique blueprint. Now that being said, like, how do we, bro, like, that's when, you know, Tarbin started getting mad shifty about Scott. And, you know, I complied because I thought I was like, bro, if it's like all set and clean and if it doesn't really matter, like, why are you so like adamant on not wanting to show this or not wanting to do this and that? So it started building up from there, as you can imagine. It started really building up and Tarbin just got more and more like, you know, fucking he started catching on. And I was in the middle of making part.2 and again, for me, it's just like, fuck, I felt like I was just starting my artistry. I just felt like I was just starting my journey into this whole like, fuck, you know, I get to express myself. I get to like finally open up about my past traumas. Maybe this would be the healing journey and the necessary step that I need for myself. Fuck, maybe this is it. And henceforth, like, part.2 happened, you know, so for me, you gotta understand, like, my perspective of this was like, yeah, fuck, I don't know if there's fuckery, because I refuse to believe someone that I care for personally, could be at the helm of doing all of that. And for me, and number two, you know, again, like, I just couldn't understand, like, what, like, you know, if that was to come to the light, don't you think that would fuck everything up anyway? So, like, why would anyone do that? So, you know, fast forward, like, I remember Tarbin coming in during when I was making part.2, and he was like, "Hey, like, fuck, you got to stop this. You got to stop this right now." You know, it's like, everything you've done, like, it's owned by this motherfucker. And what if this guy owns it completely? Like, what if he doesn't give it back? And I was like, oh. Like, I've never really thought of it like that. Like, I've never really thought about somebody else owning certain trademarks or something and running off with that. And I understand the importance of that for every artist, because you, as an artist, if you contribute and you dedicate your whole life's purpose into making something, you would need the rights to that. And obviously that, in today's day and age, is masters. It's like, who has the rights to certain masters? You hear about it all the time. Big artists buying their buying their masters from other people, buying their whole fucking list. And it's a huge thing. It's like, you want to be the owner of what you truly deserve, like what's rightfully yours. And I was like, man, this can't be a hard conversation to have with Scott. Like, if this is something we have just figured out, then it's probably time for us as the individuals that have just figured this out now to bring to light. And if it's something that we all were just not knowledgeable of, then there should just be no malice, you know, as opposed to like, hey, fuck you, you know, fuck you for this. But again, I was also a victim to this, so I just thought, okay, you know what? You're right. This guy is clearly very, very, very like upset and bothered. And if I'm being completely honest, seeing Tarbin upset bothers me more than the actual thing. And I know that's kind of weird, but I can't explain anything otherwise. Like, I can't lie to you. That's genuinely just how I felt. So I decided to at that period in time, to stop part.2 for a bit. And then you know, my mum calls, and this is when my mum starts getting involved with this whole thing, because my mum is very intuitional. I trust my mum. Everything my mum called for, she was never wrong about. She was always right. Like, a term that says mum's always right, like I do not shit you, that is something that I truly am scared of, because I truly believe it. My mum's intuition is none like other, and she told me to just keep going, because, you know, it's just something that I had to do for myself. I'm not used to that term. Do it for yourself. I'm not familiar with that term, and because I'm not used to that term, do it for yourself. Even that period of time, I struggled to do things for myself. I felt like if I did things for myself, it would be the epitome of somebody else's at somebody else's expense, whether it be their mental health or whatever. It's fucking toxic, I know. But anyway, I just thought, okay, fine, let's just keep doing this, but let's still hear this guy out. And I moved to LA, you know, in that turbulent fucking turmoil of a time, while we were scheduled to do our first Regime tour. And this was such a big deal because, guys, this tour was the first tour that me, Tabin, and Cream, and yeah, pretty much us three, and Arctic, sorry, we're gonna be like together as like a unit on tour, on stage. More important than me and Tabin just being together as a unit on tour was something that I've always wanted, iconically, just something that I've always imagined to be good, and I know him too was somebody that would have saw that as that. But obviously, as time developed, you know, like I think Tabin got his, Tabin got a hold of his, I guess, up till now, how much he was making, and up to that, like he got all of that, like pretty much audited and kind of printed out, and you know, you could see it. So I remember he came to me and he's like, oh, guess what, like, this is, bam, like this is crazy. This is how much I was making. And mind you, like I don't nose into that. Like I don't put my nose into like, oh, how much are you making? And you know, I would imagine a lot of people are like that anyways. But I still remember seeing, I saw the amounts of money that he was making over the last like 8-7 years. I mean, sorry, not 8-7 years, but as an artist, sorry, from when he started becoming an artist. So the period of 3-4 years, I believe, 4 years or 5. And I remember seeing the amount that he made. Mind you, he was being wrongfully misplaced as well. But you got to understand, like, in my mind, I thought there was like a certain number that everyone was making. And I just thought it never really passed that. So when I saw the amount that he was making, even him, like, even that was like something that he wasn't even meant to make. He was meant to make way more. That like shocked me to the core. So remember, I'm like, bro, if you're making this much, and this was like a big problem for you up to this point, how fucked was I getting? Now, how hard was I getting fucked? So, like, holy fuck, you were making, like, you gotta understand, like, I just didn't, like, I couldn't comprehend that. Whoa, we're like, yo, like, it made me really reflect. Like, it made me really reflect on how much I was really making for any of this, like, really. And then I started tripping out, like, fuck, you know, like, yo, like, I've never really seen that amount of money being made before on one term. Not even like just one term. I'm not going to disclose the amount of money that we've made. Just know I had to fucking, like, I had to think. There was a period of time where I told John, like, and this was during iCool, I was like, maybe I have to start working at the convenience store, like as a side gig. Like, legit, I was like, I'm looking into doing a side gig at a cafe, or fucking hell. Fuck. But like, anyway, point being, like, that'll probably give you a good idea of what I was fucking struggling to make amends with. And, you know, like, just seeing that, I guess, kind of really started opening these doors to my mind where I just thought would never lead me to my salvation. Bringing back the idea of DPR being my salvation slowly started taking hits. And you got to understand, like, my idea and identity built on this whole idea of believing in a team and believing in the people that I love. Even showing all of the people necessary to my disabilities was a big thing for me. I had a hard time opening up about it. Scott was one of the few, if not the first person that I've ever opened my switches to. Which is probably why I'm a little bit more angry and a little bit more upset that things happened the way they did. because I trusted him with all of that. So anyway, sorry. So I just thought, fuck, how are we going to do this tour? And mind you, at that period of time, like, I was doing Mitre too, man. Like, I was fucking dying. I was going manic every fucking day because of this drama that was happening and what it could possibly mean. Like, holy shit, if this was true, if this all came to fruition, and this was like the worst case scenario that I could possibly imagine for us, it's probably going to be the end for me. Like, it's probably going to do me in. Like, I can't survive another sea clown. I can't. Like, I just fucking can't. Like, I refuse to believe that this is going to be the demise of me. Like, it's going to be the downfall of me. And I was tripping out because, like, everyone else was tripping out, and, once these things started coming to fruition, and we're like, oh my God, bro, did you know that this was being mishandled? Like, here's the thing, right? When we earn this amount of money, it gets distributed to the investor side, about 30%, and we take about 70% to DPR. 70% of which the funds are now coming in from, like, whether it be shows, whether it be like fucking the royalties and masters and all of that is coming in, but it was being distributed by one individual. Yes, you guessed it. But what was it being distributed based on? Just based on how he feels like he deserves it should be distributed. So pretty much playing like fucking like God, like playing just what he thinks it deserves, how much he thinks somebody deserves in this period of time. In comes like the secretary that I told you I brought in. This guy I've vouched for ever since I came to Korea, right? I will not name him, but he was one of my first friends when I first came to Korea. So when I was 21, he was one of my first mates. I gave him a job when he came back from the army. He didn't know how to do any of it, but I trusted him because obviously I thought I had him figured out. But it turns out this guy that was handling the receipts and talking on the phone for all these people that on the finance side, or so secretary is kind of the right term. So under the tables, he made more in a year than I had in the last 5. So 5 years of what I made in DPR would be less than the 1 year of how much he made in a year. I was fucking... Shit. Sorry. So when I asked why, right? When I fucking asked why, it's like you just needed somebody on your side. Just needed somebody on your fucking side. Those instances where I had to borrow money. I remember as I was editing Mitre 2, fucking manicked out. 6 days out of the 7, I just couldn't sleep. I knew this had to be done because if I couldn't finish it, I didn't want to leave my fans, and certainly number one, I didn't want to give the impression to our fans that something was fucking bubbling to this point. So I just kept pushing on, closed my eyes, just kept pushing on. And then, Scott would be calling me in the background and he'd be like, what, fuck. Just all of a sudden, he's like, Tubby's leaving. I'm like, what the fuck? That wasn't what we talked about last conversation. He's like, no, Tubby's leaving. In my mind, when I heard that, I'm like, nah, there's no way he said that and he believes it. Because again, at that period of time, there was no real thing. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew the juice of it, and I was like, yeah, let's get to the bottom of it. But we had tour coming up, and I was in the fucking process of making part 2. And I already shot the video and already done all of that, and it was like, okay, I'm sure this guy's bluffing. Like, I'm sure Tabin must be bluffing to Scott, because at that period of time, obviously, their relationship wasn't fucking flowers and daffodils. He must be lying to him. Otherwise, he would tell me. Like, he would tell me that he was leaving first. So, you know, that's when, you know, because obviously, I think he told Jeff first. He told Jeff first. And Jeff, I think that's when Jeff got first, like, what the fuck is going on? And the reason why I want to give you context about this guy is because of moments like this. If he was anywhere near in on these things, it would have already fucking came to light. Like, my mum had found the best lawyers. We already fucking went through this time. But that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is, part 2, Live said he was leaving. I had to finish fucking editing. Scott was on his, like, fucking on the ground melting, having a panic attack. I was trying to deal with all of this, and I finished it. I somehow finished editing part 2 just 3 hours before the release, and I fucking uploaded it and fucking sent it out to the world. At that period of time, part 2 didn't matter. Like, none of it mattered. Like, I didn't care about it because nobody else really fucking cared about it. Oh yeah, when it came out, I didn't even know it came out, because why? The minute it came out, I had to take a plane to Charlotte, and my first mind was like, man, I hope Tabin's not serious about leaving, because, you know, I want to talk to him before he really makes up that decision. I want to really engage in this conversation before any of this fucking goes down, because at least that's kind of what I think we should do. So part 2 comes out, nobody gives a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And we just go and fly to Charlotte. And I still remember the first thing I went to, because Charlotte is where we were prepping for a month before we went out into the world with our tour. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, there's no fucking way this is happening. Like, there's no way that this is happening, and we are not doing, like... So we went, and I was like, Tabin, like, you gotta be straight with me, man. Like, are you really leaving? I was like, no, I'm told. Are you leaving? Like, because I gotta know. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, fuck, man. Like, and, you know, like, this is when we will have these conversations. I'm not gonna go too much into detail, but, you know, I still remember, man. Like, I was like, man, if you made this already, bro, like, why don't you fucking just tell me? Like. And I understand why. Like, this is the thing. I understand this unconditional line sometimes where Tabin has his best interest in me. I'm not saying he doesn't. He has his best interest in me. But sometimes because of that unconditional line, it's a bit hard for him or me to cross. You know, some things I think he wants to just handle it on his own. But you know what, like, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I never really find the appropriate time to ever talk about how I feel about any of this. Like, really, ever. It fucks me up, because it's just like, man, if I see this dude suffering, I'm like, oh, bro, I can't. There's no time for me to suffer. Like, this dude's fucking at it. And I still remember, I'm like, man, what would it take for you to... And by all means, like, I was so over the moon that he had finally found his edge. Like, he had finally found the confidence to want to do something of his own. That was his dream. Like, he wanted to do something of his own. I didn't know it would come at that time. I just thought, man, like, we were doing this together. Like, I thought this was like our thing. Like, I thought this was like the whole point of it. Like, if Scott's out of the picture, don't we get the keys to our kingdom? Like, can't we just work this out with Jeff then, right? Like, is it that much of a hard problem? I don't understand what's getting in the way other than Scott. So, you know, my thing was like don't go away. Like, just stay here, because my mind is starting to split. And, you know, like, I just need somebody. Like, I just need just fucking people. And, you know, like, when I heard, like, okay, this guy was already kind of, like, dead set on wanting to leave. And trust me, like, if you're going through your first fucking trauma, and you're going through, like, the first, like, your road trip to becoming, like, a fucking villain, your villain arc story, as they say, there's nothing that's going to get in your way. There's just nothing. And when I saw that, I'm like, immediately I thought my C Clown days, like, oh my God, like this guy would have done it. Tabin, out of all people, is a responsible dude, but when you get that obsessively into his mind as you did Scott, when you fucked him up with the whole like paranoia with the money thing, you fucking did it. You've really done my boy in. And honestly, like that's just one of the things that I'll probably never forgive myself for as well. It's just having the lack of knowledge to be able to see that nuance and identify it, and fucking really letting that get to this guy's head and cracking him in the shell. So it's like all his fears, and mind you, it's because he had a hard upbringing. This guy had a really hard upbringing. He had his family, he had his mum, his dad had cancer. Like he went through the fucking trenches just to be able to be where he is. And trust me, God gave it his all. And you fuck with that, yeah, that would do it to you. So I don't blame him for being the way he is. But at the same time, like I knew there was no way of getting to him through that anger and through that cloud. I didn't know, the only thing I didn't know was how much my world was breaking into fucking pieces. I just didn't know. I just didn't know how much my world was breaking into pieces after that. I tried convincing Tarbin to stay. I was like, listen, man, like you could do your own thing, but let's just stick together first, and then let's like figure out a way to do your own thing. But I knew, man, like, and trust me, I relate to this, and I understand. If you're there and you're fucking filled with it, and this guy has sent you to the existential end of the world, you are going to try to disassociate with that with any means possible. Trust me, take it from me. So I knew I wanted to be there for him, but at the same time, when I looked down, I was falling apart. DPO was meant to be my salvation. The people that I thought I was going to be here just are now kind of a figment of what I thought was real. And, you know, like I was just getting in my own fucking head, and, you know, it was doing me in, trying to hold together. Mind you, we were doing tour. So we were doing 46 cities like this. In this current state, in this intensifying fucking frequency, that is how we started tour. And I still feel so bad for the boys, you know. I'm like, man, what would it take for you to come back, man? Like, be like, hell, like if you, as long as you got the rights and you got the keys and it's all done and set in paper, I'll come back to DPR. I'm like, all right, bro, but let's all right, then let's do that. Like, let's figure out a way together to get that. But like, what would that entail? Like, and mind you, at that period of time, it wasn't Jeff. Like, there was no fuckery appointed to this guy. So it was just Scott that was doing that. Obviously, he mingled with all that shit and he fucked everything up with that. But that was the catalyst of why everything tumbled for me personally and for live. And everyone on the team started getting fucking crazy. It wasn't just me and live that was struggling. Chunyong, I remember Chunyong like this guy, like this guy goes out of the way for everyone while doing it on the you know, the minimal amount of money that he makes, you know. And I still remember like when he finally made the money to buy his friends like a meal. I think that was the first time I saw him like tear up. And, you know, stuff like that just fucking breaks my heart. But it also, like, hits a side of me where it just fuels this fucking fury. And it was like a side of me which I never decided and I never wanted to bring back up again. But it was creeping up on me. ever since C Clown, it started locking up, but the doors and the keys and the chains were starting to fucking unlock and break. And no longer could I put anyone in front of that door to mark opening ever. So, and so the tour happened. I don't know how. I remember spending my birthday there during rehearsals. It's fucking the most depressing birthday I've ever spent in my life. It's just, we were all segregated. We were just all parted away into our own thoughts, and my immediate thought was just like, man, how the fuck do I make these guys like? How do I make it work? How do I make it like? How do I ease his fire a little bit? Like, what is something that I can do to help that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do I do this? Like, I've never been in this conundrum before. And then, we started doing these shows. And, the deal was, like, Scott wouldn't travel with us. Like, he wasn't allowed to. That was the deal. Like, bro, like, we'll do this, but I can't. Don't let him anywhere near the boys. And then we'll travel like that. But fucking hell, like, even the way that the tour money was split, like, that was all on Scott's decision as well. Like, you guys got to understand the imprint and the blueprint that was set up in business. How much somebody was getting, how much somebody was getting out of that was all fucking done by Scott. Like, it wasn't like none of us had fucking say in this. Did we suspect any fuckery was going on? No, because why the fuck would someone do that? Like, if anything was to come to light, don't you think, like, this would be like, especially to me, man, don't you think I'll fucking, sorry. The reason why I just got to prevent myself going up from these is because I'm on like, I'm on a bit of a, like, I'm really careful of me tripping out. But anyway, tour happened, and you could imagine it's every fucking thing, every worst nightmare. We put so much money into the production, which we did not design. Scott had his ways of setting up the tour. So even from the element of bringing that tour to life, like, that was all in Scott's budget. Like, I don't know how much he spent like a fucking shit ton of money in that, but that was all production. Like, that was all of that. And my only thought was like, damn, I finally get to see the fans. I finally get to perform in front of our crowd. And, like that was the last of my thoughts. Like, that, you got to understand that was meant to be what I was excited for, like, bringing Mitre to life, being able to see the fans that I finally reached was like something that was so important to me. But the fact that the matter of the fact was, like, it just, like, that was like, I couldn't even process that. And then we did one show, we did one after the other. We started in the States. And with each show, I remember, man, like, I was, like, after I did my thing, it wouldn't even feel like I'm the artist. I'll be like, fuck, I'll go to Tarpin, I'll tend to him. Because I'm worried. That was the first thought I had. As soon as I finished my show, I think, fuck, like, is this guy okay? Is this guy alright? And you saw, I'm sure you've seen his documentaries and stuff, but, like, he's like, those moments where you see in the green rooms where he's having a hype, that's all real. Like, that was like pretty much most of the fucking shows we did. So there was no time for me to process how I felt about any of this. But you guys got to understand, I knew there was like a big part of me that I wasn't addressing, and that was like, I thought this was meant to be your salvation, man. I thought this was meant to save you, not kill you. And that one thought was a thought that drove me into oblivion. It was like after the 10th show, I think, I started cracking. I started cracking because why? There was no support. Tarbin was smart enough. He found Hyunsu. Like, he found that guy to go with him on tour. I'm not used to that. Like, I don't know what managers are. I don't know. I've never had it. So there was no real support system for our artist structure. And this is one thing I realized during that period. I was like, damn. So this is what we need. We need more support for our artists. it was such a unusual. But here's the reason: being an artist myself, I think that's what I can kind of now understand is what's needed. I kind of always thought maybe I was the support for live, but now not being able to differentiate that and really kind of split that off. I never really took it in a way where, do I need that? And I was like, fuck, I do. Like, I really do. Because, we didn't even spend any money for hair and makeup, you know. And to some artists, that's cool, because for me, that was the whole stick. It was the whole, like, conceptual makeup. So fucking hell, I would be doing my makeup for the first 2 continents. Like, I don't know, I'll watch YouTube, I'll learn. And those were the moments where I would start crying, just in the mirror, just because live went up first and I went up second. And I still remember when live went up, because everyone was really worried about live. Everyone would go with him, and I'll just be by myself in the green room, and this would be at every show. And I just remember, like, man, these are quiet times. These are maybe the moments that I needed the most. But was I dying inside? Yes. Was I fucking about to throw up and get destroyed because of how my mental state was taking a spasm? Yes. I think I went into the 10th show and then the 12th and the 15th, and then I had like a breakdown, and people didn't understand why, because I had to fucking hold it together. I really had to hold my fucking stick together, because otherwise, like, really, like, what the fuck were we doing? Like, I just really had to hold it together. There was no other way. Cream was having a panic attack. Chunyong was tripping out. Like, that was the first time I've seen these guys like that. Tour does that to people, I understand. But the way we went on tour with that frequency, yeah, it was wrong. The plan was like, yo, let's just fucking, let's just do this. Let's just get our pay and let's just dip. That was the whole plan. And let's just figure it out afterwards, right? But during the process of it, and again, I'm not holding anyone accountable for what had happened to me. It was a choice of my own. It was because I decided that I wanted to care for these people, and it is because I decided I wanted to go out of my way to do it for these people. We did not have a strong enough system to support me as an artist, and that's something that I don't think anyone would have realized at that point. But it was too late by then. It was fucking too late. I still remember, like, it started getting worse. This fucking bubble and this fury and this spite that I had buried a long time ago, I couldn't do it. It just kept growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. And then occasionally it would just blow up here and blow up there. And, John would be there to, like, simmer me down. And for whatever reason, John would be the one to get the backhand of that. So, fast forward, I got to a point where in Brazil, my manic state could no longer handle it. My meds weren't the exact medicines that was working. And during that whole period of time, I thought, fuck, if I don't do another show, I'm going to die. I really am. I'm just going to end it. Because for me now, life has become completely meaningless. It's just, like, I needed somewhere to hold on to. I needed people to hold on to. I just needed to believe in something and believe in myself again. And I thought that healing was doing its part for 8 years, 9, to say the least. For almost a decade, I thought I was healing, and the very thing that I thought I was healing from turned around and stabbed me right in the heart. And I take full accountability, And with that guilt came depression, and I just thought, fuck, this is it. One of these cities is going to be the tripwire. It's just a matter of time. And Brazil was where I made my first attempt at killing myself. And by the grace of God, John walked in, I think just in time, and I was sent to the ER. You guys don't understand the reason why John goes at people on Twitter, on X, sorry, the way he does when somebody says something from me is because he was the only person that was there to see what I was going through. The only dude that fucking went traumatic, got the traumatic end of it, and still stuck through. None of the other boys, none of the other fellas were there to see that. And again, that's not to say it's on you. It's not to say that everyone was a victim. Everyone was going through it. How can I see somebody that's fucking going through it, and how can I show them that I'm bleeding? But at the same time, my mind, you got to understand, this is why context is important. This is where I was coming from. I thought this is the end, and it just happened. I was like, fuck, can't take it. I was like, fuck, here you go. Is this what you wanted? And then yeah, Brazil would be the first attempt, and I'll come close to it. Still wouldn't give a shit. And because honestly, like, there's nothing more to lose in life, really. And I thought about my mum, even called a few of my parents. Some of my friends. But when you're that fucking gone, you just, and you black out. I can't control my fucking manic state. I can't control my other states. I just can't fucking do it. And I know this is why it gets so fucking tricky with the whole DRD thing. But guess what? Fucking went to the hospital, stitched me up really good. Lost a lot of blood, but was a bit sick, couldn't walk properly. They told me that I needed to recover, but we had our show the next day. And nobody knew about this except Jeff, Rami at the time, thank God she was there, and John, and our security guard, our bodyguard. I told everyone, nobody has to know, nobody needs to know this, because everyone's fucked up in their own minds, like what the fuck would this do? So, I'm sure our fans noticed it back then. It's not like it was it's not like I could hide it. But I did. And I'm sure at a certain point in time, my team started seeing that. They started seeing more than one, and over the next period of time, it would develop into like a series of how do I distract myself? How do I find ways to live another day? How do I fucking just go through this? And the switches, oh my fucking God. The switches were so bad. I needed to be on such hard medication to just be able to turn one off. And when another switch happens, it splits off into like fucking two more, man. I just black out my blackout intervals would go from about a day, long years ago, go from a day to now, like a couple of days. I black out on stage, go to like a week, and eventually, by our 45th show on Sydney, our 45th show, that would be the day that I knew I couldn't do the 46th. Sorry, our 45th show was our last show in Sydney. Our 46th show was our show that was meant to come in 2 months in Korea. I don't know, I woke up and I'm like, I'm in Sydney. How the fuck did I do 45 shows, and I opened my eyes and like, we've got to do one more. And I still remember, I told everybody at that time, I was like, I can't do this. So rarely do you see me say, go back on a plan or go back on something that we were meant to do. So rare. But I knew if I did this show, like I knew at the state that I was at, if I went through this show, I would, like I don't know when I'll come back. And if I didn't come back, it would, like, I've never been more terrified in my life. Yeah. Never in my life have I been more terrified about opening my eyes and not realizing what I had done or who I was with or where I was at or what had just happened. And here's the thing, when you get to that state and you look around and you see the people's faces, and the reason why the reason why people couldn't really take it was because, the first thing they said to me was like, you're going to put these people in debt. Like that was the answer back. And I know, listen, they had no idea the exact state that I was going through. It was a request, but at the same time, like if I had just not done that show, obviously it would have put all these people in debt. Like not just the promoting side, just a lot of the workers. So you know what, just hearing that, what do you think I'd say? I'm like, yeah, fuck it, man. Like you did it up to this point. You did it up to here. Why not? Just fucking, who cares? It's not about you anyway. Just fucking go for it. And I did it. I went on stage and I blacked out. I blacked out for what? How much was it? A month. Exactly a month. And the saddest part is I woke up in Korea. I woke up in the hospital. Getting fucking stitched up again. And then I was like, man, what happened? What the fuck happened? I was doing a show in Sydney. And then you understand, our support system, like Rami at the time was on deck. She's filming all of this. And the reason why we record all of this is not just for me, but for us to understand what is happening with me. It's like a log where I can't. There's only a certain amount of time when you get to a point where you ask somebody and they won't tell you. So you get all these trust issues from people not really telling you exactly what you did and what happened. And a month is a fucking long time for you to black out. So I was like, please, with all due respect, I deserve to know what had happened or what the fuck's going on. And then we went down our list. And, like in Sydney, after that happened, that's when my high school mate, my best mate from school, Ronald, appeared. And he just came for the show. Like, bro, the dude just came for, to support me, as he always does. He didn't know what the fuck was going on, especially DPI. He just saw me switching and he was like, this guy needs help. This guy's in trouble. I've known this guy since high school, and he's been the same ever since. So I was desperate. I was so desperate. You don't fucking understand. I was desperate. I just needed anyone by my side. But I didn't have the audacity to even begin to ask Tarbin or even, Cream stayed around for a bit. Cream was like, he tried, but it's not on anybody. Like anybody in our situation at that time was going for it. They're fucking ruffled up. But I was like, fuck, I'm gonna send it. So in Sydney, apparently, looking up all the shit that was shot, and I made a few more attempts. Ronald saved me. My other friends saved me. In all, while all of this was happening, Jeff was keeping monitor of all of this. So he was sending all these people to help me out. He was orchestrating a lot of these things to pull me out of these moments. No one else was there. No one else was fucking there to see what was fucking going on and being rattled. Nothing. Even I wasn't there, So, just fast forward, Korea, woke up. Oh, what's going on now? Oh, no, this happened in the hospital, this happened here. My first and you were like, man, in your psychosis, you were like, yeah, you said you needed a team. That was the first thing you kept calling out. You need a team. So I was like, man, maybe I do care. Maybe I do want to survive. And we had another show to do. We had to reinvent the whole fucking thing. And apparently you're like, yeah, you're halfway doing it. You're halfway done it. I'm like, so in my psychosis, in my manic state, I designed half of the show already, and all I had to do was end it. But I know everyone was think about it, man, 45 shows at that state, fucking do your head in. But I was like, man, what would it mean if we didn't do this and we're just proving that to the world that we could do this, we can't do this without Scott. Like, are you just proving that, guys? Because everyone wanted to pull the plug because they saw the state I was in. And I'm like, what? Now you guys want to pull the plug? Like, now you guys want to fucking... So now we were talking about it. And I just something switched in me. Something clicked. And I was so pissed off. And I was like, you know what? All right, I get it. But we have to do this show for my sake. Because for me, my deal was, if this show doesn't prove to me that what we do is worth anything here, like at least what I think personally, what we did, like doesn't come to any part of what we believed in, I'm just gonna fucking, this is gonna be the end of it. Like, I'm just fucking doing my head in. This is it. Like, give me the affordability of actually just doing this with you guys, showing it to you guys, showing us that we don't need somebody like that, and we can orchestrate it simply by us. Let's show them that we can do that. You know, I went full fucking tyrannical on these guys, and that was the first time I ever did that. Forced everybody to just do this show, you know, because if it didn't, it meant I was gonna die. But I didn't want to fucking put that on anybody. But I just needed, you know, I was just desperate, guys. Like, you guys, I don't even know how to fucking say it. I just needed something. I needed someone. And I needed something that was real. Yeah, just something that was real. You know, our fans would obviously be devastated. But trust me when I say, you know, you guys were, for me anyway, the reason why I try to hold it together with every single show I did. I didn't want to give you the impression that this was like, I'm crumbling or this was crumbling. I wanted to give you the impression of somebody that was like meeting you guys for the first time, hearing your stories, and fuck, those are the moments that brought me back. Those little walks I had back to the cars, and hearing your stories about how this saved your life, and I was like, man, this has to mean something. Like, yeah, this is something. But, you know, internally, like, all of this was fucking going on. What I did, what he did, what they did with this and that. I'm like, fucking hell. Just fucking hate stuff like that. So I think a lot of people are missing the point. So when all of that finished, and thankfully it was a show that, you know, would save my life. No, and you gotta understand, like, it was not even the show, it was not because of the outcome of the show or whatever. It was when I went back and, you know, I wasn't gonna go to the after party, I was just gonna end it there. Like, you know what, this is it. I finished it. I did my job. I'm not good anymore. I'm going. And for some reason I felt like I had to go to the after party, and that's when I saw everybody celebrating and everybody like crying and you know, feeling like they've overcome something so big that it was so inspiring, and I was so in awe when I was seeing this, and I was like, wow, so this is what it was. Like, this was the energy. Like, this is why it was so important for us to do this. Like, this is why it was so important. It was so necessary, sorry. And that's what I took from it. And then I met, and from the darkest era of my life, where I thought there was no coming back, where my idea and image of people were just so vaguely just distorted, I started meeting these people that I had in my life back in my time. You know, some of which you might know, you know, like Ryu, Jono, Josh. Like first it was Ryu and his wife Sarah. And you know, like, that's when I truly believed there was a God, because how could there not be? Like, if we're suffering like this, if I'm suffering and I'm not even allowed to acknowledge my suffering, like what good is it? Like what is the good that really comes from it? The good that comes from my heart. What does it all fucking mean at the end of the day? And you know, like these guys that I met during that journey just helped pull me together. I don't know what it was. It wasn't even anything that they said. It was just something that they just brought with them. And just like that, I just went back to LA. Before I went back to LA, I remember putting some of the boys into the room. I'm sure you guys remember what I said. I said, give me something real. Otherwise you can't leave the door. I was just, give me fucking anything, bro. Give me anything. Anything. Just give me anything. And the fact of the matter was, no one could give me anything. Financially, emotionally, just nothing. Yeah. And that's when I knew I was just, fuck, I don't know what to do when I go back. And this is when the talks of the masters started coming up, Tabin's masters. I hate that we have to boil it down to the value of what Tabin's masters were. But the way we built his archive, I guess you would say, Cream's involvement, my involvement, even Scott's, it wasn't very much like any other team's, I guess you could say, involvement in creating an artist. A lot of the fundamental, a lot of the DNA of DPR does come from the concepts that we've derived and I managed to put on from mind to paper. We have such a role to play in our elements that, you know, it's kind of like a shared property, if you were to say, amongst everyone. We missed a lot of the payments. I'm just speaking specifically, I'll speak for myself. I missed a lot of the payments. I never really got a cut of anything. So I'm just going to speak financially from now, like from this point. The only thing that we could equate value to, that I could equate value to, of what I was ever doing, was in DPR life, as much as I hate to say it. Not just me, Cream, Chunyong, but like when we heard that, you know, you were gonna you got up and left for the best reasons for yourself, obviously, and you know we support that. Like it's not something that it's not like a difficult thing for us to grasp why you needed that for yourself. But like just what we had done and what Scott disallocated that with was like hearing that he had still full masters, like he was signed over the shares, was like was just insane. Like I wasn't even in the conversation when this happened, and you see what it does to me. Like you see where this fucking. It's not about me having anything now. This is the point that everyone's missing. I couldn't give a shit less. I really couldn't care less about his masters now. I really don't give a fuck. Just make sure we give it out to the people that deserve it here. And I'll say it on this live, but I don't even need to get a cut out of that. let's just make sure we distribute it to at least Cream or even Junior, at least the people that did something. So then we know whatever we did at least in the past, or whatever we decide to do in the future going forward, at least they have a part of something that they thought was real and it's just not completely destructed. Just that much.